Welcome to the Real Authority. Today I'm talking about Ballerina, or From the World of John Wick. Ballerina, however they want to advertise this, is the fifth film in the John Wick franchise and the first theatrically released spinoff and second overall. Eve Makara, played by Ana de Armas, is trained in the ways of Roscaroma at an early age. After years of this, she decides to use her skills in order to avenge the death of her father. Also, John Wick's here because... Now, when it comes to Ballerina, I was undeniably excited, but I was also simultaneously nervous. Like, I'm not just saying even recently, I've had my reservations for a while. Although they have been quelled a bit by my excitement, I will admit. My first one, this goes way back, was Len Wiseman. I am just so used to Chad Stahelski directing a John Wick franchise, and he seems to have a consistent vision with this series, so it's weird seeing Len Wiseman take the reins. But also, I really don't think that the director of the Total Recall remake should have been the John Wick director, or at least before seeing it. Then they delayed it a year just to add action, which is kind of the weirdest thing to do, and that kind of tracks in the final product. I will explain in a little bit, but that really was something that I was extremely hesitant about. And that's not even mentioning the review embargo debacle. Lionsgate decided to only lift the review embargo yesterday and only allowed for social media reactions. However, they only allowed for positive reactions, not even negative. This practice of micromanaging compromises reviewer integrity and legitimacy to the point where I don't know why they did it. I feel like if someone did review it before the review embargo lifted, they would kind of be seen as inaccurate and untrustworthy. So I really don't think anybody would have the guts to do that, especially not me. But luckily, I'm usually very aware of when review embargoes lift in case I see a movie early. So there's no way I was going to compromise my integrity in order to, review a film early. That was too much talk about my doubts. I was excited because I am a fan of the John Wick franchise. The 4 movies that came before are absolutely stellar. I tried watching Continental when it came out, didn't work. Wanted to watch it again, but I didn't do it because John Wick Chapter 1 through 4 absolutely wanted to leave those on their own. So now talking about Ballerina, having seen it, positives. Of course, the action's great. Let's just be real here. The action was going to be great. While I do feel Chapter 4 is where the action kind of got the strongest in the series, I really do feel that Ballerina's action does lend itself to a lot of cool scenes. There's just a lot of scenes that really do have exceptional choreography. If I were to give my personal favorite one, it's probably the party one. Then again, the party scenes in the John Wick franchise are usually that memorable, so I feel that it was a shoo-in. Also flamethrower. But I really do feel it has that memorability factor. Yes, Eve Makara uses a flamethrower. Best scene in the franchise. Nah, but I mean, it's fun. Speaking of Eve Makara, Ana de Armas really does a good job as her character. I really did find a lot of the emotional moments sold by her performance. Like, even if the story has flaws, which I'll get to, I really do feel Ana de Armas makes the most of it and makes for a compelling protagonist in this universe where John Wick's the compelling protagonist. I feel like we were all excited for John Wick's performance. I think the movie was excited itself for getting John Wick back, but I mean, he's so awesome when doing it. I am very nervous for John Wick Chapter 5. I really hope that they don't F it up. But overall, I feel like John Wick's appearance here shows why he is one of the most iconic action movie protagonists of all time. Also, surprised to say that Len Wiseman was a better director than I thought he was going to be. Again, I'm used to Chad Stahelski, but I really did appreciate what Wiseman did with his directing. It looked beautiful. Shout out goes to Roman LaCorba's cinematography, too. These two elements absolutely make the action fun to watch while the story somewhat emotionally investing. I also do feel the intro really sets the tone for better and worse, which I really did appreciate. It is definitely a different intro from the other John Wick movies, but it sets up the main character of Eve Makara very well. And you know how I said the 4 previous John Wick movies were pretty much perfect? Well, let me get into what I feel are the weakest elements of the movie and the negatives. Shay Hatton's screenplay was not great. I do think it sets up the story fine enough, but I really do feel that the story in general really feels a bit rushed. This is a story that has been in development for like 8 years, which I don't even know if it goes earlier since this wasn't originally supposed to be a John Wick spinoff. Like, this has been in development since 2017, and the story really should have been stronger, but I feel like there are a lot of issues with the story and the way it tells its story. And we see Eve Makara training in the ways of the Roscaroma. That basically gives us insight into how people like John Wick got trained. Like, I mean, sure, she fights like a girl, but I mean, overall, this is like almost identical to what John Wick had experienced, so we can fill in the gaps in our mind. I mean, we don't see John Wick's origin story, or we're not going to see it until the supposed animated film they're going to release. But overall, the story really lacks, and I feel like the action, as I mentioned, they reshot it to add more action. I feel like the action intentionally tries to pick up the pacing, because there are many moments which are just very weird. It's like they include an action sequence just to pick up the story, while not enhancing the story. It goes like, okay, well, thank you for the weapons. Oh my gosh, okay, enemies, pew, pew, pew. This feels like they include action just to pick up the pace, not really to enhance the story, which really does track. It's not just one moment, it's like 3, maybe even more. It's so weird. While undeniably picks up the pacing, I do feel there are stretches that are not saved by the action. There is a bit of tedium here that I really did not appreciate whatsoever. Luckily, it is not like an extreme issue, but when the action is trying to pick up said tedium, it is. Also, for Eve McCar's first adventure, it really does feel like they were trying to make her female John Wick, which, granted, she kind of is, but I feel like the movie is so reliant on her being female John Wick, and this movie is so reliant on being part of the John Wick universe that it kind of becomes annoying. The most evident example is the score. Like, Eve McCar doesn't even have her own introduction music. Joel J. Richard and Tyler Bates basically reused the John Wick theme song that we know and love over and over again. And sometimes it's not even in the context of Eve McCar. The score is good, but it's just noticeable how much it relies on John Wick. His 2 appearances in here are very weird. I will admit the first one is really good, and it really does tie in well with Chapter 3 Parabellum, which this movie takes place during. But the second one, like the main action scene, while it was undeniably good and his continuing appearance was good, I just thought about the canon. Thinking about it, it just kind of does not make sense with where it takes place in the timeline. I want to do another video just talking about it because I really do feel it regards to spoilers, so I'll say that. While it's nice to see him show up, I really do feel that thinking about it more will devalue his appearance. Again, fun to see, but I feel like those who are fans of the John Wick franchise will notice that it really does not make sense in the timeline. They rushed through many moments that should have had more emotional weight. Like, there's one in particular where it introduces a twist that nobody was expecting, and it's like the character is gone within 3 minutes, which is just so weird. I don't get it. This movie really wanted to have a stronger narrative. They should have went all in instead of going all in with the action, because the action, while undeniably entertaining, really kind of lessens the weight of the story, which really does suck. I'm probably rambling too much. Like, in the end, I still had fun with Ballerina. There's just so much here that I take issue with. Like, I mean it. Chapters 1 through 4 are pretty much perfect, and each time I watch, my mental ranking of each installment changes. I know what my number 1 is, but everything else is just so scattershot. But I have no doubt in my mind that Ballerina is the weakest of the 5 films so far. But I did enjoy my time with it in spite of the flaws. The action does carry it, for better and worse. I just really wish that it had a stronger story, because considering the fact that Eve McCar is not John Wick, just that simple fact alone, I just feel like her debut adventure should have been better. But I am interested in seeing where her adventure continues. Just the way they set up what her next adventure could be is very interesting. I just hope that they don't turn her into literal female John Wick, because I really do feel that would kind of be as cheap. I mean, overall, Ana de Armas can probably make this franchise work. Borders on mindless fun, but I really do feel there's enough here to make for just fun. Really did want to love it more, but overall, I can say the Real Authority approves. It really does have a lot of what you come to expect from the John Wick franchise, which is why I approve it. And if you're here just only for the action, Dolby Cinema. Watch it in a Dolby Cinema. Definitely expect some insane action. I feel like that's how you can get the most out of the experience, at least for me. But either way, John Wick fans will be delighted. Action fans will be delighted. Ballerina is worth watching. That's the end of the video. I have not done a like or subscribe ending ever. So like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and check out my other videos on this channel. And let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on Ballerina were, plus also any suggestions for movie reviews, and I'll try to accommodate.